warm welcome to Now You Can and our special launch of Genesis TV. I'm your host, Mike Wilson. I'm delighted to join you live and direct from London, from the beautiful Four in Spitalfields. We're here with a great studio audience for a great night of content. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about some demos. We've got some interviews, some insights, all about the wonderful world of Genesis low-code, no-code platform. I'm joined by three amazing guests, by Ben Jeffries, by Peter Kimmin, and by Ray Chi. So a little bit about how the format's going to work. I'm going to invite my guests up one at a time. We've got some prepared questions we're going to have a chat about. The folks also prepared some video presentations they're going to share with us. I'll be taking off stage, coming back on. At the end, then I'm going to invite them all back at the end for a panel discussion, and we're going to interrogate the folk. Now, at that stage, you can heckle, and you can ask questions, so plenty of audience interaction. So to get us underway, I'm delighted to say we've got Stephen Murphy has prepared some, CEO and co-founder, has prepared a video presentation for us. I'm also delighted to be joined by James Harrison, the other CTO and co-founder there. James, thank you very much for coming down tonight. So to get us underway, a warm Genesis Now You Can, one round of applause for Stephen Murphy, CEO and co-founder, and take it away with his video presentation.
Thanks everyone for joining our special Now You Can event and the launch of Genesis TV. A warm welcome to all the clients, partners and colleagues who have joined the live recording in London. Thanks for taking the time. Genesis TV is the most comprehensive resource of low-code, no-code use cases, tutorials, explainer videos and thought leadership dedicated to the financial markets. Ben will go into more detail later in the show. It's a great addition to our online knowledge hub. To get us underway, we have some really exciting news to share. Firstly, on the company growth and the opportunities to join the Genesis team in any of our locations in North America, Chile, Brazil, England, Ireland, India, and Australia. Secondly, a major update on a number of new clients we have building on the Genesis platform and the launch of our new initiative, the Genesis Academy. Finally, the further additions to the industry application library being built on the Genesis platform. Let's start with the company growth and new opportunities for talent to join Genesis and change the way the financial markets industry works. We are really excited to have already grown from 50 people at the beginning of this year to over 135 people today. And by the end of the year, we will have over 150 colleagues, more than trebling the number of people within the team. We intend to grow substantially in 2022. Again, the plan will be to treble in size to more than 450 people by the end of 2022. We have a number of open roles across the company, ranging from sales and product marketing, all the way through to platform engineering and in finance, operations and people. If you or someone you know are keen to join a hyper-scale-up company which has the very best world-class investors and clients supporting the Genesis vision and journey, please reach out to our recruitment team via the Genesis website. Now, an update on the Genesis Academy, an exciting new initiative. We have completed major technical due diligences with a number of Tier 1 global institutions, proving the capabilities of Genesis's next generation low-code, no-code platform built specifically for the financial markets. I'm pleased to announce we have finalized a number of major new partnerships with a range of new clients as part of us building this developer community, all on the Genesis platform. We have created and launched the Genesis Academy. The Academy will accelerate the adoption and learning of the Genesis platform within the developer community. Expect more upcoming news on the Genesis Academy. The feedback to date has been excellent. Our clients are also playing an active part in defining the future product roadmap of the Genesis platform, and we're really proud of this addition to Genesis. Finally, an update on our industry application library. As many of you know, we are building a number of applications for clients, which are part of the Genesis industry application library. I am personally really excited by this, and the breadth of applications our clients are choosing to build with us, which range from wealth management, treasury trading, all the way through to custodian platforms. All of this proving the old model of buy versus build is now being replaced by a new model of buy to build with the Genesis platform. More to come around this in 2022. As always, thanks again for joining us, either live or on demand. Thank you for your support and taking this exciting journey together to code less and do more. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Fantastic round of applause, I think, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it absolutely amazing? What an update. Congratulations, Steve and James and all the team at Genesis. Now, I'm delighted to be joined on stage by Ben Jeffries. Round of applause, please. So senior technical pre-sales, and we're chatting strategy. So, Ben, could you introduce yourself and your role at Genesis, please?
Yeah, sure, Mike. Well, firstly, great update from Stephen, but also take note that having a live audience is fantastic. Our sessions in the studio are always good, but really nice to be in front of a live crowd again. In terms of what I wanted to talk to you about tonight and what we're going to go through, before I want to mention GenesisTV. Okay. So, as you know, we've been creating loads of content, demos, tutorials, white papers, case studies, plenty of content. And we've been doing that for the last year. But what we've found is that with so much content, we need a platform to be able to get that out efficiently to people, hence GenesisTV. So really excited to see the launch of GenesisTV, making our content more accessible for everyone.
And a key part of your knowledge show about the Genesis Academy that was touched on earlier by Stephen's fantastic. So you're going to touch on, Ben is going to help us maybe outline it to show in more detail what you're going to cover, Petronell and Ray, and then we're going to invite Petronell to the stage. So what can we expect in tonight's show, Ben?
Yep. Well, plenty of content. We've got some videos and some demos to take everyone through. So we'll have a session one-on-one with you, Mike. We'll take you through some of the use cases, maybe some of the direction of where things are going. We'll show some content to the audience, but then we'll all come back together at the end. We'll run a bit of a panel, or you'll run a bit of a panel, and then we'll open it up to Q&A for the audience.
Fantastic. Well, Ben, look, a round of applause, please, for Ben. And as I invite my first guest to the stage, Petronell Kimmin. Petronell, hi, good evening. Could you introduce yourself and your role at Genesis, Petronell?
Thank you, Mike. I'm Petronell, and I'm a sales manager at Genesis, and I manage the client conversations, new and existing.
Now, there's a few things you wanted to share with us tonight in terms of the key themes and challenges your clients are seeing in the market and some of the drives that are happening. Could you elaborate on that, please, Petronell?
Yes, of course. So just to highlight some key themes from 2021, we can all agree that 2020 and 2019 wasn't the best. We're now going back to normal, and I think the two things I've really seen last year is, one, the client journeys I've seen, the conversations I'm leading are really maturing. Last year, clients such as ING and StoneX are coming back for more. They're asking for more integrations, they're asking for more functionality, they're asking for more, basically. And I think that's a testimony to the Genesis platform, and we're allowing them to keep up and provide the innovation they need at speed. So their need evolves, and we can cater for that.
Now, legacy innovation is a key piece of this. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, that's the second point I wanted to touch on. So legacy innovation is an old favorite of mine. So basically, what we see a lot is that firms, they struggle with their existing legacy IT stack. And what does that mean? It is costly to replace. They've invested a lot of money in it, and it's difficult to innovate around. Think of Murex, Calypso. They have their strong points, but they also it's difficult to innovate around them. What the Genesis platform does really well is wrap applications around those by retrieving data, integrating to other systems, onboarding new assets, you name it. And I think that is an extremely important theme for our clients who want to keep their invested technology or the investments they've made, but still be able to innovate.
Sure.
And that's something Genesis caters very well for.
Without the need of rip and replace and get that agility and get that point of need.
Exactly.
Now, you've picked a particular video presentation to share around an example of legacy innovation. Could you maybe set the scene and then we'll introduce the video for our audience?
Yes, of course. So the use case I've chosen today is the prime brokerage client portal. The prime broker in question was struggling with their client base. They wanted to broaden their client base to include the smaller hedge funds and asset managers. So we've helped them by providing them a client portal so they could access the data, put through minor requests, you name it, without phoning the desk. And this has given the clients of this prime broker a sense of self-service. It's been easy, without burdening the prime broker in question. And most beautifully of all is that this portal integrates perfectly with a wide range of existing IT systems. So I think Wonderful. It's a great example.
I think it's lights, camera, action. Take it away. We'll take a seat. Let's watch the client portal. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Let's cue the video.
Let's run through the Prime Broker portal demo. When a client logs in, they are presented with this landing page that provides a summary of all important information across all of the client's accounts. This information is sourced from a number of disparate vendor and internal systems. The system normalizes the data and presents it in a single platform. Starting with the accounts overview, the client is able to see key information across all accounts, with the ability to drill down into individual accounts to view further and more detailed information. They can view this information across all accounts, and they can look at notional positions by accounts. They can look at breakdown by region. They can look at their biggest winners and losing positions. P&L by account. P&L by region. Largest holdings. Moving to risk page. This shows live, up-to-date, real-time trading information across all accounts with the ability to drill down and view information at an individual account level too. This information is sourced from the prime broker's execution management system and is shown in real time. It shows margin summary, positions, orders, and executions all in real time. The clearing page shows all trades, positions, and balance information as at the start of the trading day. This information is sourced from the back office system. Clients are able to view trades, positions, and currency balances as at the start of the trading day. By default, it always shows the current trading day, but the user is able to select a single or a date range to view the data. Cash management allows the client to view cash balances, movements, and margin requirements at the base currency level for each account, or to drill down and view the individual currency balances on account. Visualizations show the variation in cash balances and how the balance of the cash is being used in either a summary form or how the variations have transpired across the trading day. To initiate self-service account functions, such as cash movements, by selecting a currency, clicking Cash Movement, filling out Direction Date Out Currencies SSIs, and then initiating the request. Similarly, they can initiate balance conversions between their sub-accounts as well. Moving on to reporting, clients can create custom reports and data extracts. Any new reports are saved to the client's profile and can be recalled at a later date. To create new extracts, simply start with selecting a table, give the report a title, then select the columns that you wish to feature on your report. Ticker, name, traded price, market value, last traded price. The user can also add additional features if they wish. And before they finish, they can customize the extract by moving columns around, then selecting what format they wish to download the report in. Back on the landing page, any important information that the prime broker needs to push and alert their clients to can be shown through either the account notifications window or the alerts window here on the right-hand side. Additionally, clients can also interact with the prime broker via the interactive agent.
Wow, a round of applause. It was absolutely fantastic. Peter Nell, come on. The front end looks amazing. Absolutely superb. Congratulations. So we're thinking about these 2020, 2021 challenges, legacy innovation. If I may turn to maybe looking forward and sharing your thoughts about challenges coming out in 2022, what does that hold for us?
Well, for 2022, I'd rather focus on the positive things that I think are going to happen with Genesis. As you all know, we're building every day on our platform, and we're very excited to hopefully start that platform journey soon with our clients. And I'm sure Ben and Ray will elaborate more on that, but that's quite big news. And I would like to see that our project really evolve from a single application to more ecosystem thinking, so more integrations, more functionality. I really want to see that innovation journey with my clients, and I think that's the way to go. The speed to innovation we can provide is truly unique, and that's what I want to see in 2022.
Fabulous, the speed to innovation. Just absolutely fantastic. Congratulations again, it looks absolutely fabulous. Please, everyone, a round of applause for personnel, absolutely superb. So it's a very, very good segue to invite back on stage Mr. Ben Jeffries. I think that deserves a round of applause too for Ben, even just slowly back on the stage. So Ben, right, look, we're well underway now. Fantastic stuff, amazing from Peter Nell there. I noticed some pieces you want to key off that, thinking about some of the challenges that are happening to drivers, the client piece there, and how you're reacting to that in terms of the strategy of Genesis. So just elaborate on that, please, for our audience would be great.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk to you guys, and Stephen sort of alluded to that around what buy to build is. But I think also it's worth mentioning that we have flexible engagements or flexible engagement models with our clients, right? So the material that Peter Nell was talking to you about on the back of us building for clients, and that will continue forevermore. It's an important part of what we do, but also we're starting to see a bit of slight change in direction. What's interesting though is that when we speak to clients, the conversations, and I do a lot of that in the pre-sales role, right? So the conversations will generally boil down to a really small number. In fact, we have 4 of these common use cases, right? So we had a look at the legacy innovation, and we have countless conversations along that theme. And another one I was going to talk about tonight is what we call new industry applications. Okay, so what that is, it's all about choices or alternatives for organisations. So what that means is that whether I could be looking at a large-scale application, and maybe you've been typically or traditionally sort of hampered by very few choices, maybe by some incumbent vendors.
Yes, and that are difficult to change or maybe are expensive.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or you've tried to embark on that journey yourself. Yeah. And it equally applies at the other end of the spectrum, where you find that businesses have been limited because they can't find effective software solutions. And that might be that the vendor solutions don't exist. Maybe my business is a little bit too different and I'd have to go and build that bespoke application myself. And if I had to do that, well, then is it viable? So low-code, no-code changes that, right? So I've got a clip to show you, and it's on this application called the Treasury Money Market Rates, and I'm going to call it TMM from here on in. But it's a good example to show because it's showing that there was a bespoke type of operation within this bank that it was built for, right? They had challenges around, they needed to disseminate sort of rates between traders and the sales, the client-facing teams, right? So you don't go and just find a plethora of vendor systems that do that, right? And deal with all the complexities within the bank. So this application is a good example, not to be hung up on the functionality within it, but just thinking about the problem that it was solving. So it's giving them, it's making bespoke software applications or solutions viable for different types of clients.
Fantastic. I think a round of applause. Team MR is coming up. We'll exit over here.
The Treasury Money Markets Rates Application, or TMM, is what we call a new industry application. It replaces existing software applications with a modern alternative, purpose-built to fit the exact requirements of the client. It was built for a large bank, and this application facilitated the distribution of money market rates from the traders through to the sales desk, where the rates could be quoted to clients. First up, We follow a trader's workflow to set rates and publish them to the Treasury sales desk. Most often, rates are pushed into the TMM application from an upstream system. Alternatively, the trader can upload rates from a file, or they can set the rates using the curve management screen. To do this, we first select the currency we wish to view or edit. We can then edit fields on the ladder for each of the available periods on our curve. Below, we can see the calculated rates for today, tomorrow, spot, and the different periods out to 12 months. The trader can edit any of the specific rates by adjusting the mid-price and spreads. As edits are made, any dependent or calculated fields flash to feed back that the changes have been registered in the application. Once the trader is happy with the rates, they click the Publish button for either all rates for the selected currency, or alternatively, click the Publish button for specific rate to update. Now this is completed. The updated rates are available to the sales team via the Treasury Rates screen. This is the view that the Treasury sales team use to quote rates to their clients. The sales user selects the currency, then the period and rates, if available, are displayed. These rates and spreads can be quoted to clients. Should a client request a specific date or period, then the sales user can specify it here, and the application will calculate a price from the curve that the trader has previously entered. From time to time, certain events will see the need for traders to stop quoting rates to the sales teams. When this occurs, sales will need to refer the rate request directly to traders for a quote. The TMM application easily allows a trader to halt quoting on either individual rates for a currency or for a whole currency altogether. To do this, the trader simply clicks the Refer button, which instantly updates the rates on all sales user screens. Pricing becomes halted. This way, the Treasury sales team cannot quote erroneous prices to clients. When the trader is ready to resume quoting to the sales desk, they simply click the Publish button to release the prices. The Treasury sales team's screen now have been updated, and they can now see the two-way prices again. Importantly, the bank needed to be able to fully audit every action within the application. This level of control was not previously available to them. If a user's entitlements permit, they can access the audit window, which shows all of the events logged within the system. This enables the bank to be able to trace any event at any time. Auditing is a common core building block of the Genesis platform that is used in nearly every application built.
Wow, I think a round of applause for that. That looks absolutely amazing. The front ends, I have to say, look so slick and so intuitive. Super. So, Ben, amazing. Is there any particular key takeaways and highlights for the audience you just want to emphasize here?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the application and you think about the use case, it's fairly contained, right? It's quite specialised. It's perhaps on the smaller end of applications you might build. But the key element there was really where the video finished up. We talk a lot in Genesis about the concept of building blocks, right? It's a concept that amongst a lot of tech talk that people can grasp. And when we talk about building blocks, we talk about sort of reusable components that, whether it's connectivity options or it's what we might call core building blocks that help build applications, right? So if you think about that particular use case, they had some very old tech that sort of kind of was facilitating those prices. There was a few spreadsheets thrown in there for good measure. We all know the challenges that people have with that type of technology. Now, coming back to those building blocks, those core building blocks that any Genesis application will have by default when we start a new project, dealing with things like audit trail, dealing with things like roles, security, permissions, entitlements, right? So you think about that fairly simple use case, there's actually a whole bunch of complexity there that the bank had straight away, right? So they could control who could see what. Were you a sales trader? Were you a trader, or were you on the sales desk? Every change that was made was audited. So that stuff's coming straight out of the box. So that's a really important part of building applications, large or small, on the Genesis platform.
And so those building blocks are completely reusable then too. You got them as a base level. Before I let you go, I just want to revisit this buy to build and this piece about Genesis. Could you just elaborate that one more time for our audience, please?
For sure. And I don't want to steal Ray's thunder, because he's going to talk. He's responsible for some of our platform development, direction, and so on. But in terms of the conversations that I'm part of with prospective clients, there is more and more demand coming through from clients about wanting to use technologies such as the Genesis low-code, no-code platform to build their own applications. So these are organisations who have existing development teams. To date, I have not met a development team that is not snowed and can't get through their work. They're coming to us looking for a new way of doing things. So buy to build is all about that, and that's the direction and the path and the journey that we're on to get people sort of building their own applications on the Genesis platform.
Absolutely amazing. Could I ask you please put a round more of applause, please, for Ben with a super presentation. And to my next guest, Raymond Chi, take to the stage, please. Super stuff. So don't forget, folks, if you have your questions, get them ready for the panel discussion at the end. Ray, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Ray,
great to be here.
Yeah, could you introduce yourself and your role at Genesis, please?
Sure, yes. My name's Ray Chi. I'm head of platform delivery at Genesis. So I work across the team and try to help, try to make sure that whatever we need to be doing is happening, whether it's process, whether it's people, whether it's priorities.
So Ben just touched on this buy to build, and he kind of teed it up nicely for you, Ray. Could you just elaborate that and elaborate that for our audience, what we mean about that as buy to build for Genesis?
Sure. I mean, I think one of the questions that comes up is sort of how did it come about, and where what influenced it, and really there was a number of things, but one of the most important ones was client interest. I mean, fundamentally we respond to our clients, and a lot of our clients typically have some degree of tech teams, some large scale, some less so. And various degrees of sophistication of their tech teams. But once they've gone through the process of building a project or a system using the platform, and they kind of experience the acceleration and the capability and they're witness to that, then it's quite a powerful message, and they're keen to get involved. So we had a lot of clients approaching saying, hey, can we partner with you? Can we build on the platform? Is that something we can do? And really that was kind of what drove the move to buy to build.
Now, I know you've got a particular video segment to introduce that elaborates that in a bit more detail. Could you just set the scene and introduce what it's all about for our audience, and then we'll take it away?
Sure. Well, I mean, the video segment that I've got is it's also highlighting where some of our low-code tooling has got, our no-code tooling, has got to, and that's an important development that's really come, and that's part of the journey and the message of the buy to build. So the video segment that we've got to show was filmed recently, actually not long ago, in our studio. Has Ben actually and Chris Anderson, our platform product manager, and we'll show Chris primarily driving the no-code tooling of the Genesis Studio in a real-world use case to build some data model elements.
Amazing. Then you'll come and join me after the back end stage and we'll have a chat about that. Please take it away. Round of applause to Ray. We'll take it away, guys.
So this is the Application Composer, which is a graphical tool for defining your underlying data model, which is a key part of building an application within Genesis. So in the schema section is where you define tables, which are your business objects. You also define your fields, which are attributes on your business objects. Yeah. And then you define views, which are kind of like stored procedures. They're the way we relate data, and these normally power visualizations in the front end.
So Chris, probably worth pointing out at this point that this is one way of designing your data model, whether you're designing it from the start or you're extending an existing one. But there's also the low-code approach to designing your data model as well. So people can be using our development environment, our Kotlin-based development language as well to do exactly the same thing that we're looking at here. So key point, all about choice again.
Exactly, Ben. Let's bring this new tooling to life with an example. So let's create a new order business object and a new trade business object. So in reality, we would have these out of the box, being a financial market specific low-code, no-code platform. But for the purposes of today, I'm going to create two new ones. So we have Expo Order and Expo Trade here. So I've created my new business object. Now I need to give them some fields, some attributes. So what I'm doing here is just reusing attributes that already exist in the system. You can create new ones as well, but don't need to reinvent the wheel. Let's just reuse some attributes here. So I'm giving my order object an ID, which is a primary key, which I've defined on that as well. An order typically has a price. It also has a quantity. Again, these are pre-existing fields. So we're also going to do the same for our trade object. So I'm going to reuse an existing field here, trade ID. We have that already in the system. I'm going to set that as the primary key. I'm then going to add a client order ID so we can relate the trade to the order object. And then I'm going to add the same field, so price and quantity as you'd expect a trade to have, and save that. So pretty straightforward. There are some other things that you can do as well while we're here. So I can create an index for these objects, which will help with high performance lookups, things like that, getting data quickly. We also have the ability to do sequences. So these are kind of auto-incrementable fields, which are very useful in the financial markets for things like trade IDs. And finally, you can turn on auditing, full property auditing across any business object you want, which again, you probably need in a financial market specific low-code, no-code platform.
Yeah, and I guess that an important point to raise here, particularly for those who are watching this, is that it has been intentionally designed to have a familiar and logical look and feel to it. That's what we've set out to build. It's a big part of the adoption of the low-code and no-code technology. And I guess whilst that is the case in terms of what we see here, is that below the surface, there's a whole world of complexity that we've abstracted away. So that whilst I'm designing this data schema here in this tool, once we go and click that deploy button, it's building all of that complexity behind the scenes. So there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye.
Absolutely, Ben. So under the hood, we're building this schema as a microservices-based application using high-performance NoSQL database technology, communicating via Aaron, so low latency messaging. If this looks simple, it's because we've done all the hard work behind the scenes.
Wow, round of applause for that. I think absolutely fantastic. Ray, would you rejoin me one more time? It's cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Ray, is there some key takeaways and highlights you'd like to maybe point out to the audience there, just to elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. It's reiterating a theme that's come up a lot, which is it's about choice. I mean, different people want different things. In some cases, we sit down with clients, and they want to get straight into hey, let's talk about the development environment, let's do this, and they want to go technical immediately, and that's cool. And in other cases, you got some clients that want to kind of dip their toe in the water a little bit and explore what can I do with the no-code tooling. How far can we get with that? And it's it's our mission to support the breadth from the simplest use cases to the most complex, a simple, comparatively simple spreadsheet replacement to global market infrastructure. And for clients that want to go no-code all the way down to low-code and pro-code. So that our mission as the platform team in Genesis is to cover that as deep and as broad as we can.
Amazing, Ray, fantastic. I think a round of applause for Ray. Now we're joined on the panel discussion. I'd like to welcome back to Petinal and to Ben. I think another round of applause for our panel. This stage is the audience interaction, and I am going to be turning to James Harrison, I think is the other co-founder, for some thoughts too, probably at the end as well. It'll be fantastic. But look, to get us underway, Ben, you introduced Buy to Build, and Ray took us through some of where his team are going with that. Is this what you think the future looks like? Just elaborate on that, please.
I certainly do, I sort of mentioned before that we have to find a new way, and we've seen some great statistics. We've seen statistics from Gartner, from Google, talking about this growth and of demand for new applications to be built, and sadly that demand is not being met by supply of newly skilled developers to be able to satisfy that. Right? You think about there's apps for everything these days, and so many industries. So we have to find a new way. full stop, right? And Genesis and the low-code, no-code platform, is enabling that. We talked about the concept of those building blocks, reusing, pieces of functionality, whether it's sort of connectivity, whether it's these core things that really form the basis of an enterprise application. Ray touched on the tooling that we're providing as well. So all of that is about reducing time to market, making development teams more efficient. So, it's definitely a sort of a game changer.
So this insatiable appetite for software. Ray, I'd like to turn to you to pick up on that and share some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I've been in Genesis for a couple of years, but before that, I had a long tour of duty in the big banks, and I can't remember a single year when the number of projects that were being proposed was met with investment spend by the IT department. The head of IT just did not have the budget to do it. Now, none of the projects that were being proposed were dumb. I mean, all projects proposed washed their face. They all made good sense, but the budget only went so far. So I think the real opportunity here is you can get deeper into your book of work with the same teams, the same resource, but you can deliver much more of your book of work. And why wouldn't you want to do that?
I love it. It's code less, do more.
Code less, do more.
I think, Perenelle, turning to you, I think if you're seeing an increased demand for buy to build, does this mean Genesis are shifting away from building for clients, or how does that work through?
I think absolutely not. I think the buy-to-build strategy is inherent to Genesis. I think once Genesis, the platform, is onboarded at a client, they can build themselves, but they can also build together with us. They can still do projects. So I think absolutely not. I think it's only the beginning when you start with the Genesis platform internally.
I want to turn back to you, Ben. You touched on some industry themes today, end-user computing, new industry applications, legacy industry. Could you just elaborate some more on the industry themes you guys are addressing for our audience, please?
Yeah, I mean, all these sort of broad range of conversations we have will always sort of boil down to those kind of four key themes, and which I think is quite fascinating. And the conversations that we get involved with clients about the challenges that they're facing, they are really broad, right? I mean, we can be talking about someone around a custody platform, a middle office, treasury money markets rates, or automating some workflow that's contained in a bunch of spreadsheets. We haven't really touched on what we call end user computing. There's not an organisation, there's certainly not a financial markets organisation that isn't plagued with these challenges, right? So being able to use our technology to kind of unlock that sort of situation that they're in, and be able to sort of develop applications in an efficient way, in a viable way, is quite a different perspective to have on things.
Fabulous. So I want to prime my audience. We will come to you in a moment with some audience questions interaction. It turns to my last question, Ray. Apologies. Ray, you talked about self-sufficiency and advocacy. Could you just elaborate on that for our audience, please, and what that means for our clients?
I mean, I think it's all about choice. It's what do our clients need? What do we need to provide for them? And how do we position ourselves and our capabilities to make sure everything's taken care of? I think it's we're in a great place, and I'd just like to say to those in the room, thank you so much for your support so far and being part of the journey up to this point. It's amazing. And I'm just so excited where we are now, looking forward to the future, the things that we're talking about, the things on our roadmap. What our future looks like is amazing. I mean, we've got ideas around development communities, we've got ideas around further global rollout. It's amazing time.
And your offices and
amazing.
Just on Genesis,
great times.
Super stuff. So I'm going to turn to the audience. If you'd like to raise your hand, if you've got any questions to Perenelle, to Ben, to Ray, anything we touched on, some thoughts yourself or your own projects you're running in your organisation. Anyone raise your hand? We got a question here. Yes, the back.
So I guess I just wanted to know, how does Genesis, differ from other like low-code or no-code platforms or products that are on the market?
So I'd like to answer that. Thank you. That's a very good question. Of course, there are other low-code application platforms out there. Think of Appian, Mendix. I think the core difference is the focus we have and also the complexity we can handle. So we often see with the first generation of low-code application platforms that they're very focused on business process management, or if there is a process in the business, you create a fast application. So I don't want to call it simple, But compared to a trading system or a trade workflow, you require resilience, low latency. These are complex financial applications. And that is what Genesis is good at. Genesis's core comes from capital markets. It comes from that trading world. So we are able to handle that complexity. We are focused on that. We also cater for EUC replacement and BPM tools, but our core is there. So complex projects is something we can handle very well. So that's why I would say we are a second generation in that sense.
And that comes to those building blocks too, I guess. It's all complete
Yes.
in nature. Ray, maybe you'd like to pick up on that.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the building blocks, the architecture, the engineering, actually we have one of the distinguished principal engineers here in the audience, has been designed and optimized with financial markets and financial services in mind. You know, the fact is you can drive a fast car slowly, but you can't drive a slow car quickly. So things like scale, complexity, all of that are capabilities that come with the Genesis platform that perhaps some of the other low-code or no-code platforms don't offer.
Fantastic. Any other questions from the audience? Please raise your hands. Or even if there's a colleague from Genesis would like to maybe just suggest that one of the panel elaborate on a point. Thank you.
Hi, I'm George from Grayspark. I picked up on the point you made earlier, I think, Pernell, about financial institutions being encumbered with sort of legacy technology, and we hear a lot about technical debt and so forth. Can you just talk again or elaborate on how Genesis can help to reduce technical debt, and if there's any examples or of how that's actually happening with any of your clients at the moment?
Yeah, I'll start answering, and then I think I'll pass on to Ray, who can elaborate on this. But I think it is all about the speed to market. So the integrations you need to get the information out of these legacy systems, the market data you also need, the portals you need, the functionality necessary specific to those incumbent legacy systems. We already have those integrations because of previous projects with Murex, Calypso, you name it. So we can reuse that. We can reuse those integrations. We can also reuse messaging specific to the financial market. So all these building blocks speed up that innovation and also drive the cost down. And also, it also enables the client not to go back to those vendors, but it has Genesis as a second path. And I think if you want a bit more technical depth, Ray can tell a bit more about those building blocks, I think.
I suppose thanks Nelly, what I'd add to that maybe is, you know, there's good reasons for some of those systems, right? They're there for a reason, and they've been around for a long time for a good reason. You know, very often they're plugged into the bank and they're very hard to get rid of. You know, they're the books and records, they're your golden source books and records. So you might not actually want to rip them out because the amount of upheaval is very difficult. But you typically, I wouldn't be surprised to hear some of our clients are tied to like a 6-monthly release cycle. So very hard to be agile and business responsive if you only get a release out once every 6 months. But if you can wrap layers, you know, via the Genesis interfaces to pass data between your golden source and the Genesis framework, Genesis platform, and all of the components that come with that, then you can build your agility in Genesis, pass the outputs, or the result set into your legacy system, so that it's still part of the signed off, model validation group signed off, risk group signed off books and records. But you now have a cycle where you might be able to do 2 or 3 releases a week in a layer that's very agile. You can see the capabilities both visually and functionally allow you to be very agile, building and adding capabilities to your legacy system. So the two actually partner quite nicely. A key thing, I suppose, from a pure design standpoint, you might not want to have copies of the data in both sides. So you might want to keep the books and records in your legacy system and then just pull them in when you need them, work on them and push them back. Otherwise, you're going to introduce more debt with things like reconciliations. But these are small design points that you can work through. I don't know if that helps answer your question.
I was going to, because it's a good question, but it's not uncommon that we're having conversations with people where there might be multiple legacy or core systems that they're trying to pull together. companies, they're in the business of acquiring others over time and so on. So often the challenge is, how do I normalize this stuff? Do I need a digital channel? Do I need one place to bring this data in, normalize it, validate it, and then push it somewhere else? So again, that's a very common conversation that we will have, sort of in the vein of sort of legacy innovation.
It comes to my final question. I'm going to ask the same question both to Ray DePitinel and to Ben, but then I'm going to turn the same question to James Harrison, CTO and co-founder, who's in the audience tonight. And that question is, and I'll start with Ray, if there's one key thing for the audience to take away tonight, what would that be?
Hopefully a sense of excitement, I think, at where we've reached and where we're going. Hopefully, some of the things that we've talked about and shown lay a little bit of the roadmap out for the future. I think the next few quarters and through next year are going to be unbelievable. So hopefully, I'm excited. Hopefully that sense of excitement you feel to a degree as well. Again, thank you for your support. It's wonderful, and looking forward to continuing to partner with you.
Brilliant, fantastic. And Pitinel, if there's one thing the audience take away tonight?
I think the time to market we offer is truly unique, and I really the existing clients I have, I really want to grow with them. I want to be their partner, and I want to do the best job for them possible. So I think what we can offer is quite special, and we are handling very complex use cases, and we're trying to do that in a simple way, and I think that's a unique combination.
So I think I would say embracing the change, embrace a new way of doing things. It's not the first time I've mentioned here tonight that teams that we speak to are always stretched. They're trying to get through the book of work that is coming their way, and they have to find a new way of doing it. If the demand isn't going to drop, it's only going to increase. So embrace the change and look for a new way to do things, and that's something that Genesis can help with.
It feels like it's only beginning. It's amazing. And I want to turn, if I may, to James Harrison, CTO, co-founder. Congratulations, what a team, what a company. James, if someone could please pass a microphone to James. I'd like to get your closing thoughts, James. If there's one thing for the folk to take away from the show tonight, or from Genesis Code Let's Do More, what would that be?
Yeah, I think, the team's amazing. And as Stephen said at the outset, going from 50 to 135 and maintaining that level of quality, which we do, is pretty amazing. Right, we're very rigorous on the people that we hire, right? So people are a big part of it. I think the big push, and I'm not sure how much we covered of it today, but our big focus from now and into next year is all about platform. And platform, okay, but actually it's about self-service. Rather than keep coming to us, rather than explaining us the problem, rather than us regurgitating it, playing it back, and then building it, actually empowering the end client to be actually just as powerful as our internal teams are. So that's the big push for us, is all about making our clients supercharged. So, yeah, I think that's probably, I'll wrap there.
I absolutely love it. Fantastic. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Fantastic. I'll actually give it up for it. What a fantastic show. To Ray, to Pitinel, to Ben, and to James, and to all the presenters, and to you, dear audience. Isn't it great getting out and about and meeting folk again? Absolutely fantastic. Now, thank you ever so much. Folk tuning in, you can see this live and direct on Genesis.global, on the new Genesis TV channel. There's lots of videos, demos, papers. Tune in and code less and do more. That's it. It's a wrap. Woo! Well done. Great work. Great work, Pitinel. Great work. Super stuff.